So today I woke up and checked Reddit just like any other normal human because that's the most important thing when you first wake up, right? Like no shower, no morning coffee, no morning smoke or nothing like that. Just straight up go to Reddit because we're living in the age of technology. Why not the first thing to wake up to some technology? Man, did I wake up fast because there's always some crazy stuff going on Reddit. The first thing I saw was this. It took me a second to realize what was going on here. I just thought that these were two glasses that had some water in it. And I don't know, I thought maybe there might be a hole or something in the cups. Just because the note looked like it might have had some water on it or something. Like it looks like the marker is bleeding on it. And I literally sat and looked at this thing for like 30 seconds, maybe an entire minute, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Like, why is this a big deal? That's when I realized that they're cups that are half full, but they're turned upside down. Now, I don't know how the hell this person did it. They should do what David Blaine and those other magicians and shit. This is like some Jedi fucking superpower. Just kidding. If I woke up to that on Valentine's Day, I'd just leave it. Like it'd be a war of attrition for me, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's who is gonna clean this up first? Because it sure as hell ain't gonna be me. But man, dude, I really want to know how the hell she did that, or he. Well, I'm assuming she because the note says daddy, but it could have been a guy too. But whatever. I read some comments. Some guy said just slide it into a bucket or something like that. Like that is pretty smart. But man, if I woke up to that on Valentine's Day canceled. It's over. Nobody's getting nothing. Nothing sweet's happening. You wake me up to this before I've had my morning hit of Reddit and my morning coffee, man. Oh hell no. There was this meme that I saw, and I thought it was so funny. Now, regardless of where you lean politically or whatever, I don't really care. But I just thought it was funny because I just thought it was funny just because I mean when Kyle Gass and Jack Black, Tenacious D say anything, I don't take it seriously like at all. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Pick of Destiny, the movie that they did together, but they do like what's called cock push-ups and all this. It's really outlandish. It's a really dumb movie, but it's a great movie. It's hilarious and it's dumb in a fun way. So when my girlfriend told me about the what had happened, I was like, "Man, that's crazy. They broke up after being a band for what feels like forever, you know what I mean? Over a comment that I thought was in complete jest, but then my girlfriend told me apparently that it was because old JB over here was looking for that Disney money or didn't want to lose the Disney money rather. And I can understand, if he's a celebrity, so he probably is used to a certain lifestyle. And before Disney, maybe like he wasn't getting paid as much and stuff. But to throw your best friend under the bus and your bandmate for years, over it, I thought it was a bit, I don't know, shilly or, whatever term that people are using nowadays. I'm just saying, I never thought I'd see the day that Jack Black sells out. That's all I'm saying. Like School of Rock and like all the movies that this guy has made, I don't think there's a single one that I've disliked. So it was a bit disappointing. Jack Black was one of my heroes growing up. And regardless where you lean politically, you know, comedy it's not to be taken serious. It's kind of in the name itself. I thought it was like a satirical response, but this one I wanted to talk about mainly because of the comment that was made. It was kind of a good segue. This is kind of a good segue rather. But it's this. Now, when I saw this, I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I thought it was maybe a reference to Star Wars Rebels. I wasn't too sure. Like I thought that was Kanan and Hera at first, but I read the comments. Turns out that it was in the era of the it was during in the era of the High Republic, and I guess the Twi'lek character ended up getting horrifically tortured for a year in the books. So that's why the meme was like that. But I thought it was funny because this last guy, what he said, he says, The meme format is such a waste of time. It's never interesting. It's never funny. And the entire point is for most people to not get it. It's always a pointless end joke about some media, the end. If you don't get it, walk away. There's nothing to see here, literally. I mean, come on, man. You can't get mad about someone for being a little inquisitive about this. I was curious when I saw it, and I guess it's one of those if you know things, but, if someone wants to know and they don't know, how are they supposed to know? Are they just supposed to walk away and just have this like task running in their brain for the rest of their lives? Like, I really this is the type of thing that would keep me up at night, not knowing. You know what I mean? It's totally minute and minuscule and doesn't affect me at all in the slightest, but like I'd be up at night thinking like, who the hell was that Twi'lek? But maybe it's just because I like Star Wars a little too much. That might be on me. But man, it just seemed like this guy was just so damn mad. Like he's just like, look, man, if you don't get it, you just don't get it. Walk away, man. Shit. Next one was this. Said in today I learned that in 2015 a Louisiana man was arrested for drunkenly riding a horse on a highway. When detained, he said the horse knows the way home. And the sheriff concluded it did not constitute a DUI. Dude, I'm gonna start riding horses to the bar. I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Bar. No, I hate that song. I thought I could remix it to sound cool, but that was awful. So the first guy says, my grandfather was an equestrian in Hungary. I don't know how you say that, so excuse it if it's wrong, please. My grandfather was an equestrian in Hungary, and in the 30s and 40s, he often told me stories of being wasted villages away, and he would pass out on his horse and wake up at home. Also, fabulous stories of meeting my grandmother villages away. Probably 2 hours ride by horse, and the horse knew the way. The horse knows the way. That's probably too old nowadays. Memes just come and go, just way too fast. I can't keep up anymore, and I don't have social media, so apologies for the ancient meme of the way. This guy replied, it's also as if that we've always had self-driving cars. That's kind of true though. Like if you think about it, it may not be able to go as fast as a car, but a horse, you don't really have to steer it all the time. It knows the way. It knows the way. The horse will show the way. At that point, I would just name my horse Knuckles, and when I get pulled over drunk, I'd just say, "The horse knows the way." Okay, last time mentioning that meme. But this next guy replied, it's self-shitting as well. Source stood behind a police patrol horse. Oh man, dude. I hope you brought some Lysol or some shit, dude, like to clean off your shoes. Cause poop is really hard to get off of shoes, especially when it gets into the bottom part. The bottom part, I don't know what it's called, because I'm not a cobbler, but the part that you stand on, right? It's got all those grooves and nicks and stuff that it's hard to get in there to clean it out. If they're white shoes, you just put a little bit of water, put a little bit of bleach, and just soak them in there for a little bit. Wash them off, you're good to go. Anything else, though, it's going to be a bit difficult. And the problem with bleach, too, is that you'll have like a white as hell shoe sole, and then the rest of it will just be like that off-white. But then the next guy replies, thank God for that. Could you imagine if it had to manually shit your horse? God, dude, that would suck. Having to like, how would you even manually shit a horse? Would you have to like give it a command like a dog, or would you just kind of like pull a lever and then just fucking timber, watch the hell out? The guy that replied to that said, crank the tail like those old-timey wind-up crank engines. When it is done, it will whinny to let you know. 2 whinnies means there is extra left in the tank. Dude, imagine if cars had to like shit and fart, you know what I mean? And you had to like manually do that shit. Especially if you were driving a manual, man, you'd have to like switch gears. Oh, make sure that the car can fart so that way it doesn't have all the gases build up in it. Dude, it'd actually be maybe fun though. It'd be some really interactive driving. This one was a bit tricky because it's something that not necessarily I could see myself doing, but like I'm just gonna get into it. So it's from Am I the A Hole subreddit, and it goes, when me and my wife first started dating, we had a talk about cheating. I straight up lied and said, if this ever happens, I need to know straight away. If you tell me and it only happens once, I think I could forgive you. Fast forward 5 years later, and we are married. A couple nights ago, she came to me and asked if I remember our talk. Oh man. Oh no. I said, which one? We had a lot of talks like that. Then she then reminded me of the cheating talk and confessed she slept with a coworker at a recent company party. That's tough. He says, I was mortified. I packed my stuff and left. She begged me to stay. I couldn't. I needed to cool down. I feel like that's understandable. You know, I probably wouldn't want to be around someone after getting a truth bomb or whatever the hell dropped on me like that. But then he continues and says, we talked yesterday and she again reminded me of our talk early on. I laughed and said that I never intended to forgive her, and I only said that at the time to make sure she confessed if it ever happened. I'm still planning on divorcing her. Nothing can change. Nothing can change my mind about that, but my wife said that I said what I did was manipulation. Was I the asshole for lying about forgiving her? I mean, yeah, you kind of are an asshole a little bit, but so is your wife. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it is manipulation, 100%, right? But also, this one's tough just because like I feel like after having that talk with his wife, it was bound to end one of two ways, right? You know, it was she was gonna cheat or she wasn't, right? I don't know what her headspace was at, and I'm not gonna pretend to know because this could have just been one of those things of, well, he did give me a one-time freebie, so this is where I want to use it. But it also could have just been one of those things that happened and they need to talk about why it happened. It may have just been one of those things that happened and it wasn't like a planned cheating or anything like that. Which I mean personally, like cheating on someone, it varies person to person if it's a forgivable thing, and it probably depends on the situation. However, man, I say that they're both wrong. They're both a-holes personally. Because it almost seems like, because he even did say in the post that the only reason that he said that was that so that she would confess it. That's the only reason. He never planned on forgiving her, which is an asshole thing to do. But at the same time, so is cheating, you know. Take my opinion with a grain of salt here, but I feel like either way, it's just like it was kind of doomed to fail. If you ask me, if you know one's hiding stuff and the other one's, or not necessarily hiding stuff, but one's being, I guess, sneaky and the other one's manipulative. This one was funny because it actually reminded me of something that my wife told, or my girlfriend told me before she left for work. Today I effed up by waking up at 1 a.m. to burp. Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna tell you why it was funny to me. So a little bit of pretext. It's me, 32F, and my wife, 32F. So both female at age 32. And our two daughters, the oldest of which is 5. Before we got married, she had a medium-sized dog. This is important. A few nights ago, we'd already been up with the kids a few times, dispelling monsters and getting drinks so nobody desiccated in the night. I hope that's how you say that word. We finally got to sleep. We finally got to sleep, but I woke up a little while later with my stomach feeling some sort of way, which is pretty common for me, so I sat up to burp. I don't know what happened, but it sounded really weird. From the darkness, my wife head spun around like an owl. I was almost asleep, she growled. Full name. So she said the wife says her wife's full name. Don't make that. We'll just invent a name. Jennifer May Smith. Don't ever make that noise again. And then she went back to sleep because, as an experienced mama, she's not missing out on a minute of sleep if she can help it. In the morning, she informed me that apparently that's the exact sound a dog makes right before they throw up, and I almost got carried outside in my underwear at 1 a.m. Dogs and cats make this weird like guttural sound when they're about to throw up. It sounds like I'm trying to replicate it, but it's really weird if y'all don't have cats or dogs. So like burping like that, I've definitely made some really weird burping noises before, but it's never been a. Another reason it was funny to me was because even today, like I guess I woke up in my sleep, I rolled over with my back facing my girlfriend, and then just farted in my sleep, and apparently I do that often. But man, dude, imagine getting dragged out of the house like at 1 a.m. In your underwear or whatever the hell you wear when you go to sleep, or if you wear nothing, and just like with someone just drags you out there and makes you throw up, or because they mistake that you. Man, I'd be so embarrassed, man. All right, so this one was pretty interesting. The title was Can a White Guy Go to a Black Barber Shop? I, 26 male white, grew up in a mostly rural and mostly white community. So if I say something wrong, it's not at all intentional. I'm admittedly ignorant to a lot of things, hence coming here to try to learn. I just moved to a new city and live in a very dense neighborhood. There are 3 or 4 barbershops within walking distance, but they all appear to be black barbershops. I say this because when I walk by, I only ever see black barbers and black customers. I'm familiar with the cultural significance of barbershops in the black community. I'm not trying to invade that space or go anywhere I'm not welcome. I don't want a situation where I walk in and ask for a haircut and they feel like they can't say no, but I'm not sure how else to figure out if I can get a cut at the barbershop that is right around the corner from me. So, Reddit, my ask is, can I get a haircut at one of those shops? And if the answer is maybe, then how do I figure it out? So I'm gonna say I don't live in like a city or anything like that. It's not super dense here or anything, but the only time I've ever gotten a haircut at a barber shop as an adult was at a black barber shop. And I am of color, but I'm not black. So I was a bit nervous a little bit too going there just because, I'm a little brown boy and I'm like, man, I don't want to end up with like a double edge up or anything like that. But I did want a nice hairline because that's where the black barbers get it just right, is that hairline, man. They get that shit
Wow.
crisp. But yeah, man, I don't think it really matters going into what like whether you're white or black or whatever, because when I did go to that barber shop, there was all sorts of different people there. There was white people, black people, native people. Like it really didn't matter. It was a black barber shop, yeah, but they accepted all sorts of clientele, and it was a different variety too. Like the white people I saw there, some of them were military, some of them were just like guys from around the block. The best way to tell if you're not welcome there is to walk in, and if everybody looks at you with a weird look, just walk out. Because there's one time I went into this bar, a rock and roll bar, and then sometimes they have live bands and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to go because I'm a huge fan of music. Thought it might be a cool experience. But I go in and it's literally everybody sitting like in front of the bar thing where the bar stools are at, and everyone turns their head to look at me, all white people, and I was with a white friend, and I said, "Nope, we are leaving." It could have just been nothing, like, just regulars looking back to see who's walking in. Maybe they were expecting somebody, but it made me feel super uncomfortable. So I just got out of there. You can go to a black barber as a white person. You might even have like the best haircut of your life. Anyways, last one. It's another Am I the A-hole? It goes, so I recently took my girlfriend Emily on a weekend trip to a popular beach town. I booked a nice hotel room for us to enjoy a romantic getaway. Everything was great until the second night when Emily invited her 2 friends, Lara and Kate, to hang out with us. She didn't tell me they were coming, and I was a bit surprised, but went along with it. Things got even more awkward when they decided to crash in our hotel room because they didn't want to pay for their own. I was annoyed, but didn't want to cause a scene. The room was cramped with 4 people, and it definitely wasn't the romantic getaway I had planned. The next morning, I told Emily I wasn't comfortable with her friends staying for free, and that I felt they should chip in for the room. Emily got defensive and said it was rude to ask them for money, and since they're her friends. I argued it was unfair for me to cover the entire cost when I only planned for the 2 of us, and she invited them without consulting me. Emily eventually asked Lara and Kate if they could help with the cost. They were taken aback but agreed reluctantly. However, Emma was still upset with me, saying I embarrassed her in front of her friends and that I should just have let it go. When I get back home, Emily told our mutual friends what happened, and now some of them think I was being unreasonable and cheap. Others think I had a point and that Emily should have asked before inviting her friends to stay. Excuse me. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend and her friends to split the hotel costs after they crashed our romantic getaway? Okay, so just real quick to play devil's advocate. If you didn't communicate that you were planning a romantic getaway, that you just wanted it to be the 2 of you and stuff like that, I'm not saying that it's on you. I'm just saying that, communication is key both ways. But now back to the other guy. Dude, you are not the a-hole. Well, definitely you're not enough of an a-hole to be considered an a-hole in this situation. What you did might have been a bit a-hole, but it's not that big of a deal. It's totally understandable. I'd be mad in that situation too, and I think most other people would be pretty mad. But personally, like, once the part where they were staying in the room, that's where I draw the line, right? Like it's fair if there was not a whole lot of communication about the trip. You expected it to be a romantic getaway. She just expected to have some fun, whatever. And there was that mix up there. But then staying in the same hotel room, I feel like is a bit of a boundary for me. But I personally just really like to have my own space. And so, I would have asked for something in return, not just, oh yeah, you get to stay here, and like, especially when you're not having like a good time and you're let down and stuff like that, you just like probably would be looking for any sort of compensation, I guess, for the emotional disappointment, Honestly, this guy's probably nicer than me. I would have just told them, y'all need to leave. It did seem a bit, what is it, like, you give them an inch and they take a mile kind of situation. It's like, okay, this isn't exactly what I planned, but I guess you can hang out with your friends too. Oh, they're staying in the room. Now I have a problem. You know what I mean? And to call you cheap over that that's just ridiculous. Yeah, that's about all I had today. So do that other thing that YouTubers tell you at the end of the video, and I'll catch y'all later.